Hi, this is Christian, and welcome back to NFL Updates Express, your weekly dose of NFL news, coming your way, Week 11 predictions. It's a Monday Night Football matchup in our Spotlight Game of the Week when the Green Bay Packers take on the Washington Redskins. Now for the Packers, well, I'm really confused what's going on. They have a losing record at 4-5 and one of the Super Bowl contenders at the beginning of the season, and they certainly don't look like it after getting blown out on the road to the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans are looking pretty good, but that's not an excuse for a team that has Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And it's not all of his fault, but he's certainly part of the blame. For the Skins, well, they're trying to keep pace in the NFC East division, the most talented division, at least it seems so far. And the Skins, well, even with a 2-game record over 500, 5-3-1 to be exact, but the Skins still need a win to keep pace in that division because some great team is going to be left out in the cold, and the Skins are hoping that's not them. This will be a very, very entertaining game. Kirk Cousins, Jamison Crowder, and a new running back, Robert Kelly, who's played pretty well, will take on a Packers defense that has struggled. And it should be an interesting game. I think the Packers will come back and play pretty well, showing they're still the Packers of old with Aaron Rodgers, but ultimately at home, I think at FedEx, the Washington Redskins and Kirk Cousins will say you like that, and they'll get a win. Dylan's prediction is the Green Bay Packers. Hola y bienvenido a la Ciudad de Mexico para el partido de fútbol americano entre los Raiders and los Texans. Yes, it's an international game in Mexico City as the Houston Texans take on the Oakland Raiders. And it's an exciting game with both of these teams fighting for playoff spots and playoff positions. And the Texans, well, they're not a sure thing. They do lead the division, but with the Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts creeping on their tail, they really need a big win to stay ahead of the game. For the Oakland Raiders, well, they look primed and destined for the playoffs, but they'd still like to win the AFC West and taking down the Super Bowl champions because they've won it the past 5 years, and also the Kansas City Chiefs who've made the playoffs, and they look primed and ready too. And I think all three of those teams will make the playoffs at this point, but you never know. And the Raiders would love to have a big win here in Mexico City against the Houston Texans to keep their hopes alive of winning the division. It'll be interesting to see the running backs. Latavius Murray, he had 3 touchdowns against Denver on Sunday Night Football. And, of course, you have Lamar Miller, the explosive, speedy back from Miami. Last year, he had a pretty good season, over 1,000 yards, and not as great this year in my opinion, but I think that he can pick it up against a Raiders defense that has struggled at times this season. Overall, it should be a pretty entertaining game, but I think the Oakland Raiders, Derek Carr and Amari Cooper, get the job done in Mexico City. Dylan's prediction is the Oakland Raiders. It's a clash of 2 NFC heavyweights when the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Seattle Seahawks. Now for the Eagles, like the Redskins, one of these teams in the NFC East is going to be left out in the cold. And not all of them can make it, even though they all have a winning record to the playoffs. And so the Eagles are hoping that's not them as well. And they'll have a tough game against the Seattle Seahawks, who are looking like the best team in the NFC so far, along with the Dallas Cowboys. And I think the Seattle Seahawks have a tough task, though, against the Philadelphia Eagles and their defense that has played admirably well throughout the majority of this season. The only problem is the Eagles' offense is really inconsistent, and that is to be expected with Carson Wentz, the rookie quarterback who's had signs of life and then signs of, well, he's a rookie quarterback. So the Eagles, well, they'll have to rely on their running game, and that means a lot of Ryan Matthews on the ground against a tenacious Seattle defensive line who have the number 1 ranked defense in the league. This should be an interesting challenge for both teams, but I just think at home the Seattle Seahawks are primed and ready to take down the Philadelphia Eagles. Dylan's prediction is the Seattle Seahawks. It's a great AFC South matchup when the Tennessee Titans take on the Indianapolis Colts. Now for the Titans, well, I am very surprised by how well they're playing. With DeMarco Murray, the running back, approaching 1,000 yards on the season, and Marcus Mariota playing like a Pro Bowl quarterback, the Titans, well, they could be making a postseason run. And the Colts, well, they're not doing as great as I thought they would be, more close to a 10-6 team than an 8-8 team they're headed towards. But the Colts still have time to turn it around. They have Dante Moncrief back from injury. He's played well the past few weeks. Of course, T.Y. Hilton, and they have Andrew Luck, who's slowly progressed throughout the season and playing pretty decently at the moment. This should be an interesting matchup, but I think the Titans, well, they're the better team in this game, but the Colts at home and motivated, knowing that they can't afford to go 2 games down on Tennessee and 3 on Houston, so they really need this win badly. But something tells me that the Tennessee Titans, with DeMarco Murray and their high-powered offense, Rashard Matthews, Kendall Wright, among others, I think they'll just find a way to get the job done in Indianapolis. Dylan's prediction is the Indianapolis Colts. Player of the Week is Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Doug Baldwin. Now, Doug Baldwin probably doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's not really a top-flight receiver, but he's a very productive one with Russell Wilson at quarterback for Seattle. He had 3 touchdowns against the New England Patriots, helping them to a 31-24 win as our Player of the Week. You know the drill. Here are the final scores for Week 10. It was the Ravens over the Browns 28-7, the Buccaneers over the Bears 36-10, the Chiefs over the Panthers 20-17, the Titans over the Packers 47-25, the Redskins over the Vikings 26-20, the Eagles over the Falcons 24-15, the Rams over the Jets 9-6, the Broncos over the Saints 25-23, the Texans over the Jaguars 24-21, the Dolphins over the Chargers 31-24, the Cowboys over the Steelers, 35-30. The Cardinals over the 49ers, 23-20. The Seahawks over the Patriots, 31-24. And last but not least, the Giants over the Bengals on Monday Night Football, 21-20. The most entertaining game was Cowboys versus Steelers, and the upset of the week was Titans over the Packers. My prediction record for Week 10 was 8-6. Dylan's was 5-9. My prediction record for the entire year is 79-69-2. Dylan's is 76-72-2.